stack them on top. No nubs, no nubs.
No nub.
No nubbing. I'm gonna get some shirts made.
That's a shirt.
Nubbing. That's a shirt.
Ray Worthen comes from a lineage that knows the ag industry, which is why he wasn't afraid to recultivate this soil in the middle of Paramore and build an urban vegetable farm.
They said it was impossible to start an urban farm in Paramore. They thought we were going to get robbed or something's going to happen, and the opposite happened.
The crops are thriving and the cash is coming in, creating space to buy this land in Groveland in hopes of expanding into medical marijuana. But there are barriers.
Why haven't you been able to get a medical marijuana license in the state of Florida?
That's an interesting and complicated story. We'll start out with the Pickford case. The black urban farmers sued the USDA and they won. So I would call it in penalty of winning. The initial license was $60,000 to apply for. From what was explained to me, because the Pickford case, those gentlemen won, they said, oh, we're going to more than double it for the black farmers. The cost of the $146,000 was because they would take more time to review the application to make sure they're part of the Pickford case. That was the reason, the rationale that was set behind the cost of the $146,000.
The state just increased the application fee from $60,000 to $146,000 based on what's allowed in state law.
So for me, it's discouraging. It's pretty much saying, stay in your lane, stay in your place. This industry already controlled by a certain group of people. Well, now I'm knocking on that door saying, hey, here are the pioneers, the original pioneers. We want to see at the table too.
I don't know if you remember one time I was talking to you and you're on your way to Mississippi and you're like, I'm on my way to Mississippi, and you kept talking about this case and I could never quite get my brain around it.
See,
I'm like, what is he
initially.
talking about? I don't understand. What do you mean?
The state of Florida has said that they will set aside one license for a black farmer who wants to grow, cultivate, and distribute medical marijuana. That black farmer has to be a party to the Pickford lawsuit. The Pickford lawsuit that Greg Francis helped settle on behalf of black farmers back in 2010.
Well, the first meeting I had, we ran out of sign-up documents. I thought 50 people was going to show up. The line was around the block. The case was about years of discrimination against black farmers who were denied the opportunity to participate in many of the programs that the Department of Agriculture was providing for farmers. Just because there was an Emancipation Proclamation and the slaves were now free, the same folks who had enslaved them for all these years were now making decisions about whether or not they would be participating in these programs. And I like to say there was a change of legislation, but not a change of heart. And as a result of that, programs that really were created to benefit America as a whole really ended up being used against black farmers and forcing them off of their land.
Some estimates show there were nearly 1 million black farmers nationwide through the early 1900s. Over time, that discrimination cost them about 16 million acres, and now fewer than 50,000 black farmers remain.
The Department of Agriculture provides funds for a number of different things, whether it is some type of weather-related issue, or if you just sometimes you need the funds to kind of get started for that planting season. But systemically, over time, it was found that the black farmers were not getting access to those funds.
Give me an example of what would happen when a black farmer would go to try to get help from the federal government versus a white farmer.
Sure. There were a plethora of different scenarios. You know, everyone's situation is unique to themselves, but some of the examples were them being given the runaround. And farming is so time related. You have to plant by a certain period of time. So it almost run out the clock on many of the farmers. But in addition to that, there were just sometimes where it was just blatant. You're not getting this because, you're black. They just threw away the applications right in the farmer's face.
How is this relevant when you think of all of this to what's happening with black farmers right now in the state of Florida trying to get into the medical marijuana industry?
Well, it's very synonymous because the farmers had artificial barriers put up for them in the black farmer case, and that's exactly what's happening very much so in this medical marijuana case. I just didn't believe that this type of discrimination was still going on in America, period.
So we're going to talk to Nikki Fried because while she is advocating on behalf of Black farmers and calling out some of the obstacles that have been put in place here in the state of Florida, and I think what these Black farmers want to see isn't just talk, they want action.
This meeting is being recorded.
As we right now have 22 licenses in our state, and there are none that are minority owned. Yes, there's one Black Pickford license. It should have been handed out in 2017 because right now what's happening is that if you're vertically integrated, you are going to need today about $100 to $150 million in order to really be able to be competitive with the other ones that are in the market today. That is just a huge, huge barrier to entry.
So I don't care about the Republican. I care about who can help us acquire the license. That's what I care about. I'm not here to play the political side. I'm here to say, if you're going to speak to your word, keep it.
It's interesting that we would interview Ray Worthen on the land that he recently purchased because it's in this rural part of Lake County in Groveland, Florida, an area that decades ago lured African American labor to the area in order to work in the groves.
So I'm rectifying not just generational wealth for myself, but also for other families. And I tell people I'm not getting into the industry because they get hired to be the next cool person or to smoke this joint. No, I'm getting it for cases for in these urban and Black neighborhoods, these resources are not available. And not even for delivery or any type of distribution. They're available for the haves, but not the have-nots.
How do you view this, the process that's been put in place?
I just think it's another niche for Black farmers that we've been behind the wheel for so long. I just think this is another, for me, honestly, I feel that there should be an exceptions made for Black farmers that are part of the Pickford case and ones that are not a part of the Pickford case, because I'm not a part of the Pickford case, but I have the funding and can build the same space to have the same medical marijuana license.
How does that make you feel, though, knowing that there's just one?
I love it. It's a challenge. I want to fight that fight. There's a new person in the ring, and we deserve a seat at the table in farming just as anyone else. I'm saying this is a $52 billion industry people are getting rich off of. So I want to sit at that same table and have the same opportunity.
This was about more than just the money. What else was it about?
This was really about, and these are some of the things I learned from the farmers. This was really about being heard.
Hey, I'm Martha Sagowski. Thanks so much for checking us out on YouTube. If you like our stories here, make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks.